Okay, in this video I'm going to go over features of AsTeRICS Grid that let you play a YouTube video or an internet radio station. So let's get started. I already had a grid that I created earlier that I called Favorite Radio Stations, but it already has a link to a YouTube video, so it's not just about radio stations. And there's a couple of blank buttons that we'll program. One to link to a YouTube player, and the other one to play a radio station. You can play YouTube videos two different ways. You can, well, actually there's many ways to play them, but you can present them within AsTeRICS Grid two different ways. You can either link to a page with a YouTube player in it already, and you can make the YouTube player fairly big so that it takes up a good chunk of the page. And I prefer this method because it lets me have a separate page with maybe a lot of buttons with my favorite YouTube videos linking to it. The other way to have a YouTube video play is to embed, editing is turned on right now, so if I selected a new element, one of the elements I could put in this page is a new YouTube player. I'm not going to do it, but you could. You could put in a new YouTube player and stretch it over a chunk of the grid, and then the other buttons would be available to do. We could play directly in that player, but let's program a button to play a YouTube video. Now, I've already queued up a video from YouTube, and I could just copy the URL from up here, or I could copy it from the share button as well. I could copy this. And then let's switch back to AsTeRICS Grid. I'm going to edit this button, and it's going to be called Traffic Woodstock 94. I've already done this, so it saves me a little typing. As far as the image is concerned, I'm gonna search for traffic, which I had already done, and it gives a lot of nice things, and I kind of like this one here. So that'll take care of the look of the button. Let's go on to edit the actions. So I want to look for a new action that is a YouTube action, and I'm going to add it. Okay, so my YouTube action is not defined. You select it from this list. We're going to select play video, and the play type is a single video, but you could select other things too. You could select a playlist, videos from a search query, or from a video channel, or from a YouTube channel. So, but I'm just going to play a single video. I'm going to paste my link, Control V. There it is. And there's a couple of other options I can choose. Show the subtitles if I wanted, start muted. But because I'm going to link from this button to a YouTube page, I'm going to say perform action after navigation. I'm not going to save it yet because I need to add one more element to this. I've added the directions on how to play and what to play, but what I need to do is link to another grid where a YouTube player is. So I'm going to choose to navigate to another grid, and I'll add that new action, and I'm going to select a YouTube player. There's many, but the one that comes up on top is the one that has the fewest extra buttons, and it's the largest player. There it is. It's called YouTube Grid. Okay, I'm not going to add the element to the add to collection elements despite having navigated. I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to navigate to the last open grid. I'm just going to save it. Okay, so let's turn the editor off, and we'll try it.
Traffic, Woodstock 94.
Yay, there we go. Yeah, yippee. Okay, so it worked. let's go back to my favorite radio page. I'm going to turn the editor back on, and we're going to do, we're going to program a button for a radio station. So I'm going to click on this button and I'm going to edit it. And let's do a Beatles radio station. So I'm going to put the Beatles in the label there. When you search on Beatles, you don't really get much. I really don't understand that icon at all. But let's just put a generic radio in, and that one's fine. Thank you, Twitter. And we're going to say OK, edit actions. And of course, I'm going to add a web radio action. So we'll add that action. And the default action is turn radio on, which is what we want to do. We want to turn the radio on. And the default what to play is the last played radio station. So it's kind of like on a car where you had push buttons. Whatever push button was pushed in when you turn the radio on, that's what's going to play. And here's the list of stations that I've identified before as things I might want to play. Okay, you can see. And so if I had chosen next radio channel, it would play through the radio channels on this list. So, which might be useful. Maybe your student or somebody has a lot of different favorites and of different genres, and they can just bounce with one button, just bounce through the various radio stations. So, but this this button here, it says Manage Radio Web Radio List. It is what allows me to. There's my radio list. I could remove an element, or I can add them, and I can add them by using a search term. So I'm going to search for the Beatles, and it found not a huge amount. There's 3. Okay. Let's try this one. Well, we can preview it by clicking that button. And oh, I'm getting an error. There's no internet. I don't know. Okay, so we'll stop that one, and we'll try this one. Let's see what this one does. Okay. So that one works. I'm going to select it. And by doing so, it pops up on my list. So now, when I go up to which web radio to play, I'm going to select RSA Beatles Radio. Okay, I'm done. So now I'm going to go down to the bottom here and click Save. And we'll test it.
Beatles.
Dear Prudence. Okay. So notice I have a button over here.
Pause.
And as you might imagine, let's turn the editor on so we can look at the button. I'm going to look at the actions. That it has a web radio action defined for it, which I'm sure you can guess if we click Edit, is turn radio off. So that's basically it. That's how you basically get a YouTube and an internet radio station working, all built into AsTeRICS Grid. Thanks for watching.